Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. And welcome everybody to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. I am so excited for my guest today. Oh my God, we've got the actual Oracle here. Seriously, she's amazing. I met her years ago. It was literally in person anyway. I think it was just one, event that I met her at, but I know that, well, we'll talk about it as the show goes on. I've got to ask her about it, but she got tingles and goosebumps around something that we're talking about for me. And it was one of the things I'll never forget. Of course, she was there with another channeler person that felt the same way. But anyway, it was so cool, right? And I've always wanted to reconnect with her. And finally, all these years later, here we are. The Oracle is on the show. So Lia, I'm so grateful to have you here today.
Daniel, I am so thrilled to be here. And yes, I remember that event. And I always love when I hear back that something I've shared has had an impact on someone. So thank you for letting me know. I appreciate that.
Sure thing. We'll get into that a bit more later, and for sure. And then let me tell you about Lia. Lia Dunlap is an intuitive business architect with 25 plus years of experience guiding leaders to push past their upper limits so they can transcend doubt, find their purpose, and step onto their divine path to millions. Lia's inspired programs and practical services have helped thousands of clients in over 76 countries align their unique life purpose with their business genius and highest life vision. She combines intuitive knowing and practical leadership experience to help clients push past, again, those upper limits. Like, you ever feel that? Like, I can't get to the next level. Okay, she helps you get right past that, all while holding them accountable for bringing the big vision on their heart to life so they can create that big impact they are more meant to make, born to make. So I got a little tie tongue. The channel is strong here today with the Oracle. So, all right, Lia. So like I said, coming into the show, I've got two questions on my mind. I'm like, which one should I start with? All right. So first of all, what's like the most burning desire or passion you're aware of right now in your business, especially? Like, what are you on fire about? Like, what's that extra little fireball thing going on for you right now that you love sharing about, talking about, awakening people to? What is that thing you're about lately?
Daniel, I love this question, and I will tell you it's really appropriate and timely because I have been on fire lately in my business. Just recently got back from a trip to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and stayed at a spa and did a sweat. So I had these amazing visions while I was there, and it really did light me up. And one of the biggest things that I walked away from, I've been doing this for a long time, and the phrase that came through was, I'm tired of the bro code. I want more women to be out and on purpose, but also celebrated and held up, to be following their purpose in a bigger stage, on more and with more opportunities. And so I've started to really dive into honing, watching, looking for, calling in women that are really ambitious and conscious and spiritually minded, because I feel as if right now in this particular time in the world, that balance needs to come back. And it's not something that over the 20 plus years that I've been in this industry of coaching and things like that has been celebrated. And what I love, if I can just share a little bit outside of school, is when we started, I noticed that you really got into your center, and you got very mindful and perhaps even said a prayer. And I want more of that. And the Oracle is calling me to help people find and bring that out in themselves and in the work that they're doing. So that's really what for me, that's the big passionate piece. And it's part of what I do in my Master Creator Skill with my clients, is to help them figure out what that is and ways that they can bring it together. And the next step on that really is like this. It's collaborating with other people of like mind, bringing that up and out into the world so that it becomes normal it becomes normal that we're talking like this and having these experiences together.
Yes, 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 yes. I know that, yeah, this whole bro marketing thing and all that. Wow, I mean, it's to me, it's always been sort of a joke, like all that stuff. Hey, drive around in the car and the mansion and everything, and yeah, you just come this way. And I always tell this story. I don't know if I've told it on this show yet, but one time I went through, sometimes I go through people's funnels just for fun. I'm like, all right, let's see what the hell they're doing. I'm just an investigator, so I can tell good stories like this. But one time, like, okay, they like this is a typical model with some of the bro marketers out there, in my opinion. So they always like have these like very quite frankly, very attractive, ladies reach out to people, right? Hey, you want to check out this stuff? Yeah, okay, yeah, sure, yeah. Okay, so to women, they're probably like, okay, whatever, another woman. But then for men, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, okay. So anyway, and then they bring you to the bro, right? They might drop a free gift. Oh, look at this, and you're gonna get a call 50, just 7 minutes, 7.5 seconds, or whatever. I don't know. You're gonna get on the phone with the guru, and then I go on the phone with the guru. By the time I landed with a private call with the guru, all I remember was he comes on, he's got his shirt wide open, like wide open. His hair is bursting out and everything. And he's turning his body and looking at me this way again and again. He's like, yeah, okay, yeah. All right, well, I'm going to send you another free gift and then we'll see. All right, whatever. Okay. Like, and he did ask me questions, but he saw he wasn't getting anywhere with me. I'm like, it's like, okay, we'll send you this next thing. And I'm like, okay, cool. They sent me the next thing. I didn't pay any attention to it. I'm like, all I needed to see was the way he showed up on a call to know, like, certainly I didn't care anymore. I think I skimmed it. I looked through it. I was just curious. But my point is, like, people are so disgusted. There are so many people in the spiritual realm too, spiritual
Mhm.
entrepreneurs, business owners, whatever we want to call ourselves, that get on these programs. I know one of my friends, actually, I won't mention the name, but like she came on and she was railing like crazy about bro marketers and how she'd been taken for tens and thousands or more money, dollars over the years, again and again and again and again, and all promise you're going to get everything. And our clients are getting everything, and like literally every single person in the room is like in the programs and nobody has the results they're talking about. It's that
Right.
bad, folks. I'm telling you, it literally is that bad sometimes with these bro marketers. So we're on a rant on bro marketing today. The thing I had exception with that particular person saying that, though, Lee, I must say, is she was like, I don't trust any man in marketing now. I'm like, oh crap, that's too far. Like
Right. No, and I
okay.
want to say I agree with you. Like, that's the problem, though, right? Like, this is what happens because then it creates this backlash, not only against the male coaches, but even the female. Like, it's like if you
Yes.
do any of the marketing that's even similar, you're dumped into that you're dumped into that bucket.
Mhm.
And you're right. I absolutely know that some of the my dearest friends and colleagues are men who are really committed to doing it differently. The challenge, I think, is it's just so pervasive,
Yeah.
right? And it's seen, this is to your point, it's seen as success, right?
Mhm.
If you're
Right.
in their crowd, if you're at their level, whatever that is, then you're successful. And I think that that's the first notch that we have to kind of, or the knot, if you will, that we have to unwind, which is we're all here to be successful independently. I like to tell people, like, what is your unique life purpose? Because if you know what it is, then all you have to do is do that and you will be successful. And your success will look different than anybody else's success. And yes, you're meant to prosper, and that will also look different. And if we
Mhm.
can unwind ourselves from this thought that they're the pinnacle, they're the best, they're the, we don't even have to name names, everybody knows who we're talking about,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, those guys
Yeah.
created a system, and it's just like, sadly, a lot of other systems where they just bring their own friends in and they all agree to say the thing is real, but the emperor is wearing no clothes.
Yeah. Totally.
And real people really need us.
Mhm.
They really need the real us. So to me, aside from the point that you made, like, I want, it's on my heart, and it's not just because I'm a woman, but it is on my heart that there are so many amazing women coaches out there that are really talented and healers I want that big spotlight to move, like focus, refocus, because there's work to be done. And I want those people to be able to be seen so their work can get out in the world. And that's, like you said, you asked, what am I fired up on? Obviously, that is what I'm very fired up about right now.
That's so awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's what spiritual rock stars here for. I'm like, come on, this is what we're talking about, right? Let's rock it with Source and my Academy for Invincible Healers that I had in the through 2000s, whatever, for 6 7 years in the 2010s or whatever, and like all that stuff. And it was all about like what you're talking about, the healers, the spiritual people. Like, come on, let's rock it. It's been themed throughout pretty much for a long time. So totally, totally. So what I love is that, and I'm in the similar mindset, of course, right? But this idea of like, yeah, they're like, well, you're gonna make 7 figure, you're gonna start making 100 grand a month right now, and it's totally doable. I mean, I could go out and make 100 grand like tomorrow if I want. I mean, like pretty quickly. Like all I would have to do is like talk people into a bunch of bullshit, like I mean, but I don't want that.
Right.
If you're willing to just talk a bunch of bullshit to get quick results and build that kind of business, then yeah, I guess you can do it. But if you actually want to do something that's deeper and more meaningful, I'm not saying you can't have it overnight. Maybe you could. Okay, everything's doable, but chances are it's going to take some time to build. It's not going to be overnight. It's going to be something that you might could get a big increase pretty quick, right? But you're not going to go from like 50 grand to 1 million, but by the end of the year, it's not likely. It's not impossible, but it's like such a small percentage chance that that's really aligns with your highest soul's mission right now.
Yeah.
That's the key, right, Leah? It's not that
Right.
it's not possible. It's about operating in the correct way for you right now. And I'm guessing without, asking you that that's what you're doing and helping people, correct?
Absolutely. That is so important to me. And
Mhm.
I will tell you, I really struggled when I put, the title of this talk and the title, it's like on my website, all of that. The path to millions to me isn't about the quick fix. And I really wasn't going to do it. But I wanted people to understand that, as you were just saying, there is a way to do it that allows you to stay aligned without selling your soul, without, there is a way. You are meant to prosper. I absolutely 100% believe it. I've seen it over and over and over again. I've done it myself. I've worked with clients, and it can happen quickly. And if it's meant to be quick, then it will be.
Yeah.
If your journey looks different, then that's okay. And I think it's the getting okay with your journey being more than just the
Mhm.
money.
Yeah.
Your journey to success being more than just 6 or 7. One of my greatest things to say to people is like people that say, come, like, I want to make 10K months, or they'll say, even early on, they'll say, I want to make 100K. Those are like, but these are just numbers. But who floated those numbers around? Our friends in the bro code, right?
Yeah.
They said
Yeah.
those are the numbers that matter. It's like, I said, so are you telling me if you made 98,000 or 89,000, you failed,
Right. Right.
right? And it's just like, we have to stop looking at that number as a metric for your worthiness.
Yeah.
And that to me is more important. And so many of the clients that I've worked with, so many women, unfortunately, that I've worked with, and men that I work with as well, but this is kind of pervasive, unfortunately, for women, which is this idea that until someone else says so, you're not worthy.
Yeah.
And sadly, again, because the bar is being held by a lot of these guys in this very visible um, section of that industry, they're looking at for to them for this acknowledgement. And it's like, if you never met them, if you never heard about them, and you stopped and you really tuned in to yourself and asked yourself, why am I here? What am I meant to create? Why did, 1 out of 400 quadrillion chances of me being happen to me?
Mhm.
Why was I chosen to be here?
Mhm.
And then when you know what that is, how can you get yourself on fire to make it so? Because I
Mhm.
know that my experience with my clients and people in the Master Creators Guild is that when that alignment comes and they feel it, then because we are meant to succeed and prosper, opportunities come to them, people reach out to them. They change how they show up to the work they're doing, and it's less stressful and it's more easeful and in flow. And to me, that's the piece that's missing, is the reminder that it can be freeing to be successful. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. It doesn't have to feel like you're just fighting tooth and nail to reach some sort of parameter. Instead, it can feel like it naturally comes through you as you, and then you're rewarded richly for being present and authentic.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's about to me, it's about the energy you're engaging within yourself, like that vibrant energy, right? I mean, it's about, in part, it's not one thing. All, exactly, like we always want to try to find the one thing. I've made fun of that on this show before. Get the one thing, then you got it all. But like, no, I mean, that is a huge part of it. It's just engaging the yummy energy, the good energy inside of yourself and following that is huge. Now you have to connect that with business and money, and like sometimes we're good with that in other areas of life, and then when we get to the money, we're like, let me just kind of play around on Facebook and see what happens. Like no, that's not. You might feel good for a while, but when there's no new clients, you're not too happy, right? So, but it's engaging in a certain way, but with that yummy energy. And when your mind says that's impossible, you shouldn't do that, you're not good enough, you're not worthy enough to do that yet, you say, oh yeah, here I come. And you gauge that with yummy energy. That's so that alone, if people, there's so many things I'm sure either one of us could say today, like if you just do that alone, it's gonna make a big difference, right? You just do it. You just do it. No, I'm showing up anyway. And yeah, that benchmark thing, like that was way back when I started. That benchmark was around, and online was 2006. Like that stuff was around back then. It's so outdated. It's like 17 years ago. If you make 100 grand in your business, if you're trying to, raise a family or something, forget about it. You're broke. I mean, you have to make a lot more money. It's just true ultimately anyway. But yeah, these exact numbers, they don't come from your soul, but just coming from programming. Forget about it. It's just plastic. Everybody just gives the same answer. Oh, I want a million or whatever. Like, I
Yeah,
agree with
exactly.
that. I agree
It's
with
not
that.
engaged. You're right. You're not engaging yourself. You're not engaging this spirit. You're not engaging your source because it knows what you're capable of. And I guarantee you, whoever's watching this right now, I guarantee you, if you're listening to me, hear this. Whatever you think you're capable of, that's just the surface. And when you stop comparing yourself to these tried and true, ridiculous, oversaturated, random numbers that somebody picked once upon a time as success, you will find it. But if you hold those bars, like we said, they're only going to, it's like self-flagellation. It's only going to beat you up, and it's not going to bring you to the to actually do the work. And I would agree with you. It is so much about both. And
Mhm.
yes, we are spiritual beings, and we must also understand that we live in a physical world, and part of the physical world is money, and money is good, and it can be used for amazing things, and we can have as much as we're willing to receive, and in alignment we can receive a lot more than we think.
Right, right. A lot more. And we always think, well, we'll probably have to work really hard and finally get there and everything. No, you just, be diligent, whatever, so that's the thing, Leah. There isn't one formula. Everybody's a bit different, right? Everybody is vastly different in certain ways, right? So how do you help people? I mean, people come in, for example, you talk about passion versus purpose. First of all, let's start there maybe. Like, okay, I'm really passionate. I want to save the world from blah, blah, blah. This is my thing. I want to do this. But is it possible that maybe that isn't their thing? So yeah, you had to make this distinction between when people say they're really passionate and they want to do something versus what their real purpose is. So talk to us about that. What's the difference between the two for you?
Yeah, so to me, the difference between passion and purpose is not, it's more like a nesting factor. It's The purpose is yours no matter what. You are here, you were born, you were given a unique life purpose. The passion is is the flavor of that purpose. In other words, you can have ice cream and you can have 36 different flavors of ice cream. So that, I think, what happens is when people get stuck in this idea that their passion equals purpose and it doesn't work out, right? Which is usually when they start having problems about it. And then they start feeling like they lack confidence and they start thinking about themselves being wrong or unworthy. It's like that was a that's the flash, that's the outside out picturing of where your purpose is pushing you, but it doesn't mean that the thing you're doing. So for example, a good example of that is I worked with a client who we created a incredible startup program for education, and when we started, her core purpose was to help women to be more empowered and to step better into leadership. And she had a big heart, a big passion for education. So we took that purpose, we created a program through education that helped people figure out how to learn. Like, so in other words, we were working with college students. She was working with college students to figure out like what were their strengths, what were their skills, and how they best learned so that they could really shine in their education. Um, and then a life situation happened and she changed paths. And she came to me and said, was that my purpose? Right? She needed to close that down because it was calling for something different. And she couldn't sustain it anymore. And I said, no, that was something that your purpose led you to. That was your passion and in the moment. And now she's created something completely different, but she didn't lose anything. And that's why we know your purpose is solid. She didn't lose any of that core desire to make the world different. It's just a different way to do it. And so now she's running this amazing program called the Women's Coaching Alliance. And so you can see the seeds, right, of the purpose living through the different passions. So when people think about passion, I just think about like that's what you're creating with your purpose. And you can have multiple passions. You can be passionate about many things, and that's good. If you stay connected to your purpose throughout the process, then you get to be in joy of it and not use it as a reason to say that you failed or that you weren't good enough at this passion or the other passion. So to me, that's the real big difference. We can always have lots of passions, and we are constantly aligning, hopefully, back to our original purpose for being, which is different than a work or a project or something we've created.
Now, some people believe your purpose is whatever the hell you decide it is. Like, I've heard that from some people over the years, like especially back when I used to literally formulate purpose statements and stuff like that, and which I don't really do that anymore, but that was something that was fun and useful to do at that time. But how do we act? How do you help someone to understand what their actual purpose is then?
Oh, great question. So we always start with, like with any clients I work with, we always start with the purpose. And the way that I do that is a little bit different. Um, to your point, what you just made is in regards to like people saying, oh, like you can have multiple purposes and things like that. I always say that your biggest lesson is to know that your purpose leaves clues. And you can look at your life and you can look at certain times and things you've done in your life where everything else goes away, where time stands still, where you can do it all day and you feel energized because when you're on purpose, when you're involved in really recognizing your purpose, you are energized because it needs to be created through you. So source is going to energize you to get it done. And then I actually do have a small program that I run, which is called your business sweet spot. And that's where we talk about like all you things you've learned, all the skills, all the talents, and we kind of clear the decks and we bring it back down to source. And I always start with this. And I'll say this to your audience, what do you feel when you think of God, source, spirit, whatever you want to say? What are the 5 to 7 characteristics that just pop into your mind that that equals, God equals love, or source and spirit, or joy and peace, like whatever that is, pick those. And then
Mhm.
once you've got them, you look at your own life with that magnifying glass, if you will, and you say, at what point in the things that you do are those things present?
Mhm.
And when you find the one thing or several things, typically, usually we start off with, that you do where the most of those are present, that's the biggest clue that that is aligned to your purpose. So whether that is being a mother or a stockbroker or a real estate agent or a naturopathic doctor, whatever it is, whatever that, a healer, when you really scale everything down and look at it from that perspective, it's amazingly obvious, which is the funnest part of that because I do it in a certain way that it kind of backs them into it so they don't know what they're doing. And then when
Uh-huh.
they're done, they look at me like, oh my God, like it's so obvious, it's right there. And I love that because that's my point. It doesn't go away. Your
Mhm.
purpose is it's for you and you need to do it. Like the universe put you here to do it. So it's not going to go away. Sometimes we cover it up with lots of things we think we should do or other
Uh-huh.
people tell us we're good at. That's a really big crutch. But everybody thinks I'm so good at this. And when we sit and talk about it, what I hear is, don't like doing this. I can't stand it anymore. And I'm
Right.
like, yeah, that's a really big trap. Especially if there's a big financial reward attached to
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
that's the hardest one, right? Because we're like, well,
Get paid
I
big
had a
bucks to
client,
do this. Yeah.
yeah, I had a client that worked somewhere for 30 years and it took her 2.5 years to just quit. We finally
Mhm.
got her. She's doing great now. But it was like, you have been so tied to that reward, right? Again, we go back to the worthiness piece though, too. Like they're telling you you're so great at this. How could you leave? The money is so good. How could you leave? Um, and now she's excited and she's happy and she's doing really important work. But
Mhm.
unless she had let go of that, she would have never really kind of come to that point of understanding how who she is brings something so much bigger and better to the world when she's on purpose.
Do you want to meditate and make money? Let it be simple. Let it be easy. Let it be fun. Go to yoursacredpurpose.com and get your free meditate, make money meditation today. Yeah. Yeah, that's so powerful. Like I have a being list I've got on my altar when you talked about like the words and everything. Like, so I've got something sort of like that. I probably approach it differently than maybe the way you coach, but it's so resonant to me in that I'm always like, it's the state of being you're coming from that really matters. Like everything else really doesn't matter that much because the rest will happen anyway. Like, okay, if that word were, love or power or bliss or whatever, or whatever the quality is, if you're standing in that, like as much as possible each day, or to a large degree, you keep engaging that, you keep coming from that place, it's going to happen. Like one of my words evolve and change is what it, for me anyway, the way I do it. So like sometimes they stay usually stay for a while, a pretty long time. But like I switched it up after years recently, and one of the words on there was spaciousness. And the more spaciousness, and spaciousness could mean, before I say my next word to you, Leah, I feel the spaciousness. And it could, to me, it makes all the difference. Like these little hesitations, a little spaciousness, just a little bit more. So and so like all these different qualities, the way we engage them, our mind is so dramatic. Oh my God, what will I have to do? I'll have to do it. And it's like, no, it's like, how do you need to be is my thing. And then when you're doing that, that lands you in the energy of being in your purpose. The thing I love about the way you're doing it is it I love like you're extracting out of those states of being their own life journey and like extracting like, okay, like exactly where were you, where everything disappeared when you were in those states. That's your purpose, basically. I mean, then we gotta boil it down, but like that's the direction. I love that. That's genius. That's a genius way of doing it, Leah. I'm curious. I mean, now I gotta ask. So did you come up with that intuitively on your own, or is that sort of like over, nothing's
I
totally
mean,
original, maybe, but like,
well, I have to say the piece that I came up with, I'd heard, and probably many of you have watched this thing. I've heard like, what are you good at? All these things, and it really came from me from the Oracle when I was putting these pieces together years ago for one of my smaller, like my 90-day accelerator program. I wanted everybody to start kind of with that idea and what the purpose was. And I had done this work myself. And the last piece that really pulled it together for me, that the Oracle was like, it was like having puzzle pieces. And all of a sudden I saw that they actually fit together. I'm like, wait, what if we look at those core values and we look at them from a spiritual perspective, and then we do that, Venn diagram of what you're good at and all those things. What does that look like if we put this all together and then we add that extra essence of, okay, so now we know that pure you, those pure things that really, if those three things, five things are there, then you're aligned. And then the
Mm-hmm.
next question I love to ask people is the so that, right? So now you know about you. Now what are you meant to do with that in
Mm-hmm.
this world that you're in? Because you
Mm.
came here to do something.
Right.
And that's when really the magic starts to happen, because they're like, oh, well, if I'm committed, for example, for me, mine are truth, transformation, and freedom.
Mm.
Um, have been pretty consistent. And to your point, sometimes clients will, in the first little bit, they'll jog around some words for a while because they're really not sure. But we just go deeper. Typically, all the words just go deeper, right? They're like layers of another word,
Mm-hmm.
to kind of hone in. But for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's truth, transformation, and freedom. And when I look at the way I show up to the work that I do, I have to tell the truth. And the truth means the big truth, the little truth, all the truths. And if there's some discord there, I know I'm not gonna get my message across. I'm not gonna land the sale. Like all those things, it has to be. That's if it's not there, it's not gonna happen. If it's not transformative, if it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter, I don't want to do it.
Right.
If it's not going to make a difference, I'm going to have a hard time being engaged in
Mm-hmm.
having a conversation
Uh,
or getting together with a
right.
client or being part of a program, whatever. That has to be there. And ultimately, for me, freedom was a really funny thing, because I think a lot of times people think like financial freedom is definitely there with that. But the biggest thing for me with freedom was, the freedom to be myself,
Mm-hmm.
hence the oracle, right? Like I no longer, and not that I didn't before, but I no longer hide that I have an intuitive gift called the oracle, and this is what it looks like. That freedom, oh, it opens so much more to me. And so that's why I'm really committed to helping people figure out what those are. And then how do we use those? How do we really refine how you show up in the world and what kind of work you're going to do and how you're going to do it and what you're going to be,
Mm.
like and have the experience of during the process.
Right. Right. Wow. So yeah, that's a big aspect of your work. Yeah, there's like okay, like this kind of system or whatever you want to call it of drilling down the purpose and all the brilliance of that. But then we got the oracle itself. So what the heck is the oracle to you in the first place? And then maybe we could explore the oracle if the oracle is open to it. We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. The oracle is a intuitive guide. I always say a non-sentient being that came to me when I was very young. I believe, looking back, that I always had this guidance, but as a young child, was told, as many probably of your followers and listeners have been told, that I had a wild imagination, that I had special friends, invisible friends, that I was having nightmares or just daydreams, that the things that I was experiencing weren't actually true. And that's because I grew up in a family where this kind of um, gift wasn't acknowledged or valued, until I was 14 years old. And during a really intense time in my life, I had, you know, as a lot of teenagers, I had a really hard time. And I was about to commit suicide, to be quite frank. And I was crying in my bedroom late at night and feeling distraught, feeling like nothing was worth it. And all of a sudden, I had this sense that I wasn't alone. And I say I was 14 to make this point very clear. I no longer needed someone else's permission to see what I saw. I knew what I was seeing. So when I rolled over and I saw a full body apparition in my room in the middle of the night, perfectly calm, sitting on the back of my chair, staring at me. And I was like, okay, And then I just suddenly felt complete peace, total
Mm.
calm sweep over me. And I heard for the first time very clearly, instead of just the feelings and the nudges, I heard very clearly the oracle's voice say, "You are here on purpose." And it shook me. It just went through my whole system, and I understood, and I was I'm falling asleep, like instantly fell asleep. Um, didn't, of course, harm myself. Went on to start really hearing more and more messages for people. And I started working with people at school in between classes. They would come to me like out of the woodworks to ask questions, and I was helping people with huge issues in their lives. And so the Oracle has always been there to give me guidance. And it wasn't until many years later that I really understood what she meant by "you are here on purpose." She
Mhm.
wasn't just talking about me, she was talking about us. Humanity is here on purpose. And then
Uh,
I was meant to help people figure out for themselves what that was. And so
wow.
all of the people that she was sending to me needed the support to be clear, to have the clarity and the confidence to move toward whatever their purpose was. And so for these last 40 years, I have been in great collaboration. I joke that, it's a great symbiotic relationship in that I have a lot of skills and talents as a human being that I get to take and help my clients with. And when it's appropriate, when the mood moves us, the oracle will drop in and share knowledge and insight as well. And sometimes it's simple. The other day, I had a client whose great great grandmother came in and shared an incredible piece of knowledge out of the blue while we were talking that she said she'd been praying for her whole life. So
Mm.
I don't ever put any restrictions on what happens with O, which was our nickname for her. And I just really am grateful every day that I have had the opportunity to share the gift with people the way that I have.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, is it possible you could explore? Can you ask the Oracle if it's okay if we, if can be any interaction today with the Oracle, so people can experience it directly or indirectly, however it wants to happen. I don't care. But is there a way for that to happen today so we can experience a taste of what that's like?
Absolutely. It's funny that you said that because when you started us today, um I saw the halo around you. I don't really read auras. People ask me that all the time. I'm like, but I sense energy around people when she's here sending messages or typically receiving messages. So I know you have a lot of guides that work with you as well. So she must have been like, let's have some fun, let's play. So absolutely, I think that there's an opening here to share some messages. I often actually do this once a month with my own group. We have what we call the Oracle Insight Call, and they literally just drop in and ask questions, and we just rapid fire round robin, ask questions of O, and it's fun. I love doing it. And people get some really great insight from it. So, yes, absolutely. I'd love to share any answers to a question or something that might be on your heart that you'd like insight around.
Oh, great. Awesome. Wow. Now, like, what the heck am I going to ask? But I'm just curious. Okay. Well, I just keep feeling like going back to that moment that I remember at that event. I was talking about, I was just wrapping up with my Academy for Invincible Healers, where I was doing certifications of doing energy scanning and stuff, where people learn how to tune in the way, in the method that I use to do it. And it was great. It was a fun, multiple six-figure per year business. It was going on for years. But then I just got a nudge like, hey, no more. Yeah, no more. We can
Mm.
shut that thing down now. And it was to where it was like I could have maybe sold it or whatnot, but it just didn't make sense to me. I was just like, no, I think I just need to just close it and just be done. And it just didn't make sense to me. So I got into other things and over these last few years, including this, right? Which I love it. I have a huge passion for this show. I don't know. I just wanted to keep. It's been 3 years. I just talked on Facebook and it's the top 3% of podcasts and all this stuff. And I'm just so happy, so grateful. And Basically my whole business runs through the podcast. Like all the people I meant to meet, referrals through the guests or whatever. Ultimately everything kind of business wise flows through this podcast. So my question is, going back to that moment, what happened that moment was I asked, like, well, I don't quite understand why my school is ending or whatever, the county's ending, but I have a feeling like I'm supposed to bring it to more people in a bigger way. And then you got the goose flesh along with the person that was next to you. There's also a channeler type of person. And we all felt some resonance to it. But from our heads, like we had no clue what it meant. And I still have no clue what it means. Like all I know is I'm supposed to do what I'm doing right now. Like I'm supposed to be doing the podcast. I've started another podcast with men. I've got ideas for other podcasts. I just keep feeling podcasts.
Are you doing any speaking, Daniel?
I do want to do speaking. That's something
Okay.
I came into this work like wanting to do the speaking, and I've done some, but I have never done it anywhere close to sliver of the level that I wanted to do it in the beginning. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think
had to
that's
make that
definitely
money.
it. Like
She's
literally showing you on a stage in front of like a blue, the good old fashioned the blue curtain, right? So it's presenting to me. So just so everybody is understanding, if you're listening to this, for when I get insights for people, or when I do from I kind of joke that it's like the Star Trek holodeck, like things pop up on the screen in front of me.
Yeah.
And then of course there's the physical, but the thing that popped up was you standing looking outside of, like, so I'm looking at you, looking down into an audience, and you're on a stage with a big blue background. So to me, also, it's to my right, which is a future, and it's a future soonish. And soon as time is really weird with her when I talk to her about time, but we're talking 6 months, year, something like that, not even that long, maybe. But the reason I ask is it's a pretty big stage. It's not like like not like a networking meeting or something like that. Like it's an actual stage, a large live stage. So I think the path for you is through speaking on stage. Okay, so I think you and I know the same person. So I don't know if I want to say this on air, but I'll say off air. There's someone we know that's named Dan, and that name is popping up here too. Okay. Not you, Daniel, but Dan. And so, do you also have? Are you into alternative medicine and healing?
I'm not. Yeah, I don't do like the plant journeys and all that stuff.
No, but are you? Yeah. So do you
do like cacao? I mean, raw cacao.
No, and it's not about you doing it, but it seems like that's the arena.
Okay.
That's the arena that you'll be speaking at.
What was the other piece?
I was saying like alternative medicines and healing arena, as far as you're speaking. Like I don't see you speaking in front of like
maybe
like corporate or anything like that.
Well, it could be through the channel, method or something like that, like more something like that. So, so does it feel more physical or more around people overall, their healing, their awakening? What's the flavor it has?
Definitely more awakened. Yeah, not physical healing necessarily. No, okay. We're talking more from it like inspiration, clarity, that kind of healing. Yeah, definitely a vibrational healing.
Vibrational healing. Yeah, totally. I mean, we need a mass. What I've been saying is that with all this stuff going on, with all this density, it's like it's the hugest opportunity ever to get rich vibrationally because because of that polarity, right? It's like boom, we can turn on so much awesome energy, and I feel like I'm meant to be a vehicle for that. And I've always felt that for a long time. Like when that was one of the things that would create arguments with my parents. I'd be like, what the heck are you guys talking about? Don't you see it from this perspective? And I'm about truth and higher vibes and all that stuff. So yeah, that totally makes some sense. I could see myself talking about, listen, you can't keep going with this stuff that's going on in the world. We have to utilize that to catapult our awakening. So I don't know if that's kind of what they're pointing to or not, but that's what comes up for me when you talk about that. So
Yeah, definitely the hit is around the message. Yeah, for sure. Is a
mhm,
vibrational healing.
mhm.
Um, you mentioned something earlier about your business and the differences now where you're at. Um, so this is fun because I'll let everybody know again too. Like, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's just because who I am, but Oracle, we like to call her kind of, she's kind of sassy sometimes. So like, if we're like,
Yeah,
if there's the
yeah,
obvious question or the
cool,
answer is obvious, it can come across kind of sassy. But
cool.
the work is the work, is what she's saying, right? So it doesn't matter what format you're playing in. And
Right.
however,
Mm,
the fact that she's showing me the image of you speaking like very clearly, it wasn't like just
right.
vague, it was super clear. It
Mhm,
shows to me that it's definitely on your path to do
mhm,
that. And
mhm,
the healing piece of that got a physical rush of energy. So I think that that's
mhm,
very aligned. Um, and the last piece is that the oh, you had said about not selling, and kind of just letting it go. If you have any regret, um, I guess the other way of saying it is there really shouldn't be any regret because the work was complete. No
mhm,
one could have taken that from you.
mhm,
The work was
mhm.
complete.
I
And
didn't
this,
think so.
then
Yeah.
this is just,
Mhm,
yeah, this is just the new. And,
mm,
yeah, your parents, they sharpened your desire to
mm.
make this message clear.
Wow.
Are they still? No, they're still around?
One's still around. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, that was why I
Alive.
was like, a
Alive.
yes, no. Okay. Yeah. So they'll see you do this.
Mm,
They'll see you do this.
wow.
This will be seen. Um,
Here's another funny thing, if I could interrupt.
yeah.
Is as I'm getting like I know this sounds bizarre to maybe you and others, but maybe not. But at one point, like I felt like this feeling many years ago. I was like, I know it's a horrible comparison, but I was like, you know how strong Hitler was in his energy and commanding all that stuff. I'm like, I want to be like the antithesis of that. I want to take people to the highest level possible with that kind of empowerment, that kind of power of empowerment, though, And I was like, I'm going to be the flip of that. Like, that's
Mm,
what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring so much positivity, so many good results, so much more life. And it was like, okay, pay the bills. Like, so it led me down for my path, which I might be getting wrong, but it took me down into, getting nitty gritty of working with people over the years. And this getting on big stages idea just has sort of taken a huge back seat. It's just like, okay, someday I guess, maybe. So, but now I feel like, man, I've been feeling it is getting closer and closer. And then you're like, it's even closer than you think. And
yeah,
that's
I mean, it
exciting.
feels like I said, three. I mean, I always like when I look at this deck in front of me, it's like this is the present right in front of me. To the
Mhm.
right, we go like 3, 6, and then a year plus. Like, and to me, that's so much can change between now and then that I always like try to not pay attention too much to that.
Right, right,
But
right.
this is right here. So I mean, it's
Um,
in like the next 6 months ish,
uh,
heavy on the three plus or minus. But
right, right.
um, you have people in your sphere right now that that's where, as money wise, that's where your energetics are
Mhm,
leaning to show
mhm,
you like go towards the big stages, tell your message
mhm,
to those people.
mhm, mhm.
To leverage their audience, their resources, because that's the spark, right?
Wow.
That's the spark of the opportunity that's in front of you.
Wow. Well, we're gonna leave it there, and I'll just say thank you so much. I mean, of course, I'd love to continue. Wouldn't you all like to receive some of this? Of course, so I'm gonna make my next comment right now. This is so awesome. Thank you so much for that, Leah. I'm so
You're so
grateful.
welcome.
It's so profound. That could completely change my life easily. I mean, there's something around the way you do that, or what's happening, or whatever. What that does that mean? But it's just like, it just feels like, yeah, let's do it, let's have it, and I know that's what you do for people to help them create these big successes and fulfillment. And where they're like, I couldn't, I did wouldn't have, this never would have happened, Leah, without you, right? So I'm so grateful already in advance. And I know you have so much more to share, and given where we're at with the time of the show, I wanted you to share how people can get more. You talked about your program, that you have, for example, the Master Creators Guild program, and you have some one or two other things maybe to share. So I'd love for you to share, people, like, if they want to get into all this awesome stuff and they're feeling the vibe to do so, how can they take advantage of that? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So I know I have mentioned it a few times. The Master Creators Guild is awesome and it's for you. If you've been listening to us today and going like, yes, 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 and you're already in and following some sort of your plan or your path, at least you feel like you're on purpose, but you need additional support, you need a family or a community, and you would love to get actionable insights and support from the Oracle. That is the Master Creators Guild. We are a collective group. It is basically it's a mastermind group. We actually travel together. We meet regularly, and that is available. If you just go to mastercreatorsguild.com, you can find out more about that. And then if you are not quite sure even where your path starts, I've got something really easy and simple. I like simple steps. So if you go to the Purpose and Prosperity Roadmap, just spell it out, purposeandprosperityroadmap.com, you will get a quick, easy to follow booklet that walks you through finding out where you are and what next steps might be for you. And if it makes sense, in that booklet, you'll actually have the opportunity to book a call with me and we'll talk about what you uncover.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely be checking all this stuff out. I really appreciate you, and look forward to engaging with you further myself. It's really, honestly, like, and that happens sometimes in this show. So whatever that means, I don't know yet, but I'm gonna take some next steps with engaging with you for sure. So I'm just, yeah, deeply grateful, guys. This is really good. I hope you understand like how powerful what she just did with me, the Oracle, whatever they'll combine, just did with me. And I hope that you will receive this gift. It's a huge gift. There's a lot of people that are intuitive, but you see, this thing is that, oh, you're intuitive, everybody's intuitive, all this stuff. But like, everybody has their own huge gifts in that, and she just helps, just instantly helps to mass accelerate what's possible for you, so you can land with the millions and all that stuff. So like, I'm sure she's helped other people to do that. What's your favorite transformational story with working with somebody? And then we'll move on from there. But like, tell us one of
So
it.
one of my favorite stories is when I started out, I had a client who was really just completely unsure of what was next in her life. And she was a nurse and she was a massage therapist. And she really was a healer, knock
Mhm.
knock, right? But she was so stuck in the paradigm of like what she was supposed to do. This is such a great example of people saying like, oh, you're really good at this and you can make lots of money, and she was miserable. And so when she came to work with me, she knew that there was more that she could do. That was the thing. She knew there was more she could do and that she could be aligned. And so she actually started with me with my 90-day program, which is the Purpose and Prosperity Accelerator, based on my book. And we walked through the process of not only figuring out what her purpose was, but then I showed her how to really hone in on manifesting opportunities to get closer and closer to fulfilling that purpose. And one of the things, one day she came in and she said to me that she wanted to create a healing house and she saw that it was in another state. And during the process, she found out that she met someone, and what do you know? He's in said other state. And so she met him, they fell in love, they had babies, she went up there, her business thrived, and she was able to start her practice anew as the healer that she really was. And while she was there, she ended up really achieving such great examples of success and prosperity. And the biggest thing, the funny joke about our story with her, I always tell this story, was that she was testing the boundaries of manifestation. And one day she said, I really need a new car. That's what I want to put on my list. That's what I want to work on next. And so she called me laughing one day because she couldn't make it to her appointment. And I said, oh, what's going on? And she said, I was in a car accident. I've totaled my car and now I have to go buy a new one. And so we joke all the time, like when we're very clear about what we desire and we're very aligned and we're in that energy, we can manifest really quickly. So I always let people know, it's like, be careful what you ask for in that state, because I promise you, if you are fully aligned, you will have it and it will come whatever way it can. So she's one of my favorite stories because I've worked with her for years. She's come back to the program when she wants to like do a new set of goals, and she continues to thrive and have an amazing life. And honestly, when we first met, she didn't know any of this was possible.
Right, right. Awesome. Well, that's really cool. That's yeah, I love those fun stories. Yeah. Well, there you go. You manifested. Yeah. So I think with Leah, what happens is you get to get the shortcut more times than not. Like, right, you get the shortcut, you won't have to go through all that kind of crap because you're dragging your heels and you're not paying enough attention, and all of a sudden you manifest it in a way that doesn't feel so great. So but yeah, so guys, she's a very real deal. Give her my highest endorsement. No BS. I'm a no BS on here. So totally take advantage. So anyway, so we'll put the links to the show notes. By the way, guys, take advantage through the show notes below. And if you go to work with her, let me know. And I'll I will absolutely be congratulating you on taking that step. Let me know, and let me know how all the results that you get working with her. I want to know. I want to know all about it. So keep me posted. And maybe I'll send you a surprise bonus if you sign up and work with her. Okay, just for fun. Okay, I'll go that far with it as well. All right, so Leah, now we come to the time of the show where I do a little tuning in with my guests as part of my fun and my gifts. Ready to receive?
Oh, I'm always ready to receive. Thank you, Daniel.
Awesome. Okay, we'll just take a moment to tune in to Leah. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I'm getting like what the heck is that lady's name? This the one it's gonna come to me. Come on. Well, okay, the theme is I can't get the name yet. Maybe is it Ursula, the one in this in I can't think right now. Okay, but the one in the cart in the sea, the what
Oh
is
yeah,
it? The
Ursula,
Little Mermaid, is it the Little
Little
Mermaid?
Mermaid. Yes.
Oh my God, it's so simple. I just can't access my thought my language right now. Okay, so anyway, bottom line is that the one the even all the energy. Okay, that one. All right, so I see that coming in, not fully through you at all, but like I get a whiff of it. But I feel like you're the you've been in the rejected mode, like you said. Like I mean I am reading it now, like you said it earlier, but like you're in the rejected mode. It's like um it's almost like yeah, like it's so interesting. So you have that ability to help others that feel like they're it makes me sad to say it, but like they're throwaways. You're a throwaway. You're crazy. You're insane. You're worthless, or whatever. Like whatever people say, and you have these bad habits too, by the way, and and all these ideas, right? It's very emotional, and it's like, and then and then we just abuse ourselves, or we shut down, or we run away, or all three. And what I'm getting with you is, you got that grace to open up, right? That you talked about, but then now you're able to bring that to other people. They may not be in that level. Sometimes they are, right? They're a deep, deep level of contracting, but also maybe just like, oh, really, this is really bugging me. This is really painful in a way, like I can't take it anymore being at this level I'm at. and then you come in, you're like, oh, let me share this grace with you, the oracle, and boom, all of a sudden things open up. So I just wanted to share that. So that's one. Okay, we're not even done. All right, so two more quick ones, and we'll review real quick. Okay. They're showing me like the like laser eyes, not even X-ray eyes, they're like laser eyes. You're like so it's just like you just see crystal clear, and like so not only can you see crystal clear, but you get right to the thing, like right to the thing. So it's not like, I don't know, I'm getting this download. Now I'm getting another download. There's some of that, always with any of us pretty much, but it's more precise. It's more like, okay, I'm getting this, I'm getting that, I get it, and they're, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, right? And so it's more like that with your laser vision, and it also is clearing the energy. It's also aligning them very quickly. So that's the other thing, which we just, again, we witnessed all these things. So we also have the confirmation right from the show on that one. Seeing like hummingbirds around your field, they're showing me, and like you're just like you're like listening, and it's like this fun. It's like, where what other fun things are you doing? You're sort of like in the, like attuning more to the hummingbird energy, like, oh, let's go here a little bit, let's do a little bit of this here and there. And it's like just it feels like you're dancing. It's just like, yeah, it's like it's finding more ecstasy and joy in your body and life, and like you're deepening in that. And I think that's part of your growth, coming ahead. So it's going to go much deeper with that. So all right, so those are the three things that came to me. Any quick thoughts or feedback on what came through?
Oh man, I think that they're spot on. I think the last one kind of made me chuckle because we have three little hummingbirds that visit us in our
Ah,
hummingbird feeder every morning. I've named them Bob, Alice, and Frank. Frank is, it's not derogatory, but we call him Fat Frank because he's the fattest hummingbird I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, how do your little wings hold your little body up? But he's adorable. And so that kind of imagery was really sweet. But it also reminds me that I am in this year a state of really getting out more, of course, going out to be in engagement with people, have more fun, sharing my gift in a lighter way, in a more open way. So I think that, as well as that, the laser eyes made me chuckle too, because I've often been associated with that directness of like,
okay.
here's this. And I think it can come across sometimes as a gift to people who know me well, especially my clients. They love it. And sometimes it can be a bit abrupt for
Right.
people who don't know me well. But it always
The
comes
hell are
through
you to
well because
tell
I
me
always
that,
know
right?
I
Right.
always know in the end it's like it's the cleanest way I can give you what I have to offer. So thank you so much for validation and for that little bit of delight. I always love that too.
Sure thing, my pleasure. So everybody, if you want to check me out, go to yoursacredpurpose.com. If you want me to download some things for you, or what I'm seeing for you, your gifts and where the hiccups are, and to help you, find your vibrational healing for your path and for your purpose in your business too. Take a look at getting a Rock Your Sacred Purpose energy scan consultation to kick off the party. And literally through the session, you will get great value, great insights. It happens every single time. People are get excited. Some people come back and they say that changed my life, right? So just even that single session. So check out the Rock Your Sacred Purpose energy scan consultation. And then the other thing is I also have a free gift, which is my meditate and make money meditation. You guys, if you follow me, I talk about it all the time here. Do it the easy way. Meditate and make some money. Honestly, if you utilize, if you don't, you even don't consciously do anything with it, you listen to it every day and take it in fully, you're going to start seeing new blessings. New money will come into you as the vibration is stronger than you are. All right, than your little mind. So get into it, guys. Check out the Meditate and Make Money meditation and the 4 ways you can meditate and make more money right now. All right. So then that's all at yoursacredpurpose.com. Okay, so Leah, I'm going to give you the last words. So any last words for the audience today?
Just first and foremost, thank you, Daniel, for having me. It's been such a great time to share with you. I want all of your audience members to remember, no matter what you're doing, no matter where you're doing it, you were designed to be here, and the world is waiting for you to show up and be exactly who you're meant to be. And people like Daniel and myself are here to help support you in doing that. So take advantage of all the gifts and goodies that come your way. And please remember, you are here on purpose.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much, Leah. What a treasure you are. I'm so deeply grateful. And yeah, maybe we'll have you on again someday. Okay. At minimum. All right. We got to keep sharing Leah the world. All right. Awesome. So everybody, thank you for tuning in. Keep on tuning in. We'll keep on rocking it here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast.
Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.